Right, so hello and welcome back to Books and Things, and welcome to another Victober video, and welcome to the first vlog of Victober. In this video I'm going to be vlogging my way through a week or two of Victober, reading lots of Victorian books. This video is also very kindly sponsored by Serious Readers, a great company who make amazing reading lights like this one, but I will tell you more about them later in the video. Today is actually the 30th of September, so it's not Victober yet. Victober is tomorrow, but I thought I would film a little introductory clip on Victober Eve, as we have started calling it on BookTube, which makes me very delighted. So I have a massive stack of books that I may or may not get to in Victober. And I have so many more books on my Kindle, but you know, we don't need to think about how ambitious my TBR plans are for Victober. I will link my TBR/pile of possibilities down below, and will I get to many of the things that I thought I wanted to get to? We will see. One of the reasons why I thought I would film a little introductory clip today is because I'm actually halfway through reading two Victorian books that I was hoping to finish in September and haven't managed to. One of them I didn't think I would finish in September, so I put that on my Victober TBR, and the other I thought I would finish in September, so I didn't. But that's a late edition, and I should finish it very early on in the month. So the two books I'm currently reading are A Liar's Angel by Anthony Trollope, which I'm about between the third and half of the way through. Wonderful novel so far, really interesting story of two sisters who are kind of separated and sent to live with different relatives after their parents' deaths. And then the other book I'm reading is The Mystery of Edwin Drood by Charles Dickens, his final unfinished novel, which I am reading for the Mega Dickens read-along. It was September's book, and I am a little bit behind, but I've got a few hours of the audiobook left, and hopefully I'll finish that off very early on in the month. So I'm trying to think about what else I want to start tomorrow for the beginning of Victober, because I don't want to start a new audiobook until I finish The Mystery of Edwin Drood, but I probably do want to start something else alongside Iola's Angel, probably something quite short that I can finish off very soon. I like to do that with many readathons to give myself a sense of satisfaction. So I'm thinking maybe I will read one of my plays tomorrow, or tomorrow and the day after. So I think I'm going to start maybe either Surely of the Wells or London Assurance. I've got a relatively busy week, but I've also got some reading time built into this week. So I'm actually doing two library author events this week, one on Wednesday, one on Thursday. I have train journeys to get to those library events, and one of those train journeys is quite long, so I will hopefully get quite a bit of reading done on the way to and from library events. Looking forward to them, and I'm looking forward to getting lots of good Victorian reading done. So that's all for now, and I will check in again very soon. Hello, happy Victober. I'm wearing my Victober top in celebration of the first day of October. So it is now the evening of the first day of October, and I have not read anything so far today. Just been busy with work all day, but now it's the evening, and I thought I would do a spontaneous Victober reading sprints live show. So I'm going to be doing some reading for the next hour or two, and making it a live show, which will encourage me to definitely spend lots of time reading. And I forgot yesterday when I was planning what to read today that I need to start The Doctor's Wife, which is the group read. So I think the first thing I'm going to do is read the two chapters that we're meant to read today for The Doctor's Wife, and then I think I will start Trelawney of the Wells, because I think that'd be a fun thing to try and read. Sorry for the 2 minutes ramble. You see, usually on BookTube you get edited Katie rather than rambling real life live Katie, so apologies for the general ramble, but it's okay because most of this live show will not be me talking, it will mostly just be reading. So happy Victober, everyone. Hello. I'm just checking briefly back in after the live show, which was really fun. I read the first two chapters of The Doctor's Wife, which I really enjoyed. There's a character who is a sensation novelist, and there's lots of little in-jokes and like making fun of sensation fiction, which I found very entertaining. And then I also read the first act of Trelawney of the Wells, which actually is quite meta as well, because it is a play all about actors, and it kind of begins with young Miss Trelawney of the Wells Theatre leaving the acting troupe to go and get married. I think I'm going to carry on reading this tonight and see if I can make more progress with it, because I read the first act in like 20 minutes. I'm enjoying this so far. I'm enjoying The Doctor's Wife. I also might listen to a bit more of The Mystery of Edwin Drood on audiobook. That's all for now. I'll check in again very soon. Hello, it is the 3rd of October and I thought I would update you with how my reading has been going for Victober. It's been a busy couple of days. As I said, I had some library events this week, so I did one library event on Tuesday evening and then one today, both of which were really fun. I had lots of really interesting questions from the audience and stuff like that, and had a nice chat about history and writing and that kind of thing. So that was really fun to do. In terms of how I'm doing with my Victober reading, I did indeed finish off reading Trelawney of the Wells, which I thoroughly enjoyed. This is just such a fun, comic, entertaining, delightful play about kind of the clash between theatrical people and non-theatrical people, and how the people in the theatre world just have very like different codes and rules and ways of behaving than the people outside the theatre world. And then I have also been listening to The Mystery of Edwin Drood on audiobook. I'm so very nearly finished. I've got like an hour and a half left, so I'm hoping I might finish it this evening. It is so good. Oh, it's so good. I'm so sad that Dickens died and didn't finish it, because I feel like it would have been his best book, by which I mean I feel like it would have been the best book ever. And then I have also been reading The Doctor's Wife by Mary Elizabeth Braddon, so I'm on track with the schedule, really enjoying it so far. Really interested to see how it plays out. It doesn't feel very much like a sensation novel yet. I'm kind of interested to see where the plot's going to go, and I'm really enjoying Mary Elizabeth Braddon's like witty, wry style and all her little jokes, and all her discussion of novels and how Isabel kind of reads too many novels and it's, you know, affected her view of the world. And then I've also been reading Ayala's Angel by Anthony Trollope, which I'm now about 2/3 the way through, and is just like a pure delight. Just love Anthony Trollope so much, and Ayala's Angel is really good. So lots of great Victorian reading, and I will check back in once I finish The Mystery of Edwin Drood and maybe Ayala's Angel too, and let you know how I'm getting on. Otherwise, that's all for now. Having said that was all I had to say for today, I did also want to take a moment to tell you about Serious Readers, who are very kindly sponsoring this video. So Serious Readers are a really great company that make amazing reading lights like this one here. So this is my high definition light. I've had it for ages now and I use it all the time. Basically, if I'm reading inside my house rather than, you know, on a train, then I sit on this sofa and use this reading light, and it is really great. It makes a big difference to reading, especially in the winter when it gets dark. It means I can read a lot later into the night. It's also dimmable and flexible and maneuverable and all of that kind of excellent stuff. And I've also got a diffuser ring which kind of like spreads the light out, which I really like as well. To be honest, most of the time I use it with a diffuser ring, unless I am vlogging, because it like blurs a lot more on the camera when you use a diffuser ring to if you have the regular stream of light, but in general I prefer the diffuser ring because it kind of spreads the light out. If anyone's interested in Serious Readers, I will leave all the details down below in the description, and I also do have an offer code active at the moment. If you use the code KT24 at checkout, KT all in capital letters, and then you can get £100 off a high definition light. I'll put the offer code and the link down below as well. Anyway, that's enough rambling from me and I'll get back to my reading. Hello. It is Friday evening, the 4th of October, and I've just finished listening to The Mystery of Edwin Drood by Charles Dickens. And I'm feeling generally emotional because, one, it is so exceptionally sad that Charles Dickens didn't finish this book because it is so good. And also because that's the end of the Mega Dickens read-along, which is wild. If you don't know, over the last 2 years, I have been hosting the Mega Dickens read-along, and we've been reading all of Charles Dickens's novels in publication order, and The Mystery of Edwin Drood that he was writing when he died was obviously the last one. I do have some Dickens Christmas related plans, which I will talk about at some point in Victober as well. But like the main Mega Dickens read long is over, and that is very, very strange. It has been such a pleasure to reread all of Dickens over the last 2 years in chronological order. And I have listened to them all on audiobook, which was lovely as well. And it's been such a nice experience, and reading them with a lot of other people and chatting about them on Discord has been lovely. And it's really strange to think that that's finished. That's the last book. I still have a lot of videos I want to make for the Mega Dickens read along. I am behind on my like analytical discussion videos, so I need to make a reflections video on both On Meet Your Friend and The Mystery of Edwin Drood. And I'm also going to do a big ranking at some point in Victober of all of Dickens's books now that I've reread them all in quick succession. But the actual like reading bit is over, and that is very, very strange. But yeah, The Mystery of Edwin Drood, my second finished book of Victober, although I did start it in September, but oh, it's so good. It's so sad that Dickens didn't finish it. I remember thinking this when I read it for the first time, aged 18, so, you know, a long time ago. I remember thinking, if Dickens had finished this, this would be my favourite book of all time, not Our Mutual Friend. Because I do genuinely think Dickens did like improve a lot over the course of his career, and you know, it's not a coincidence that my favourite novel by Charles Dickens, my favourite novel by my favourite author, is the novel that he wrote last, that he finished last. But The Mystery of Edwin Drood is obviously the book he was writing after Our Mutual Friend, but he died halfway through, and it's so good. Like, there are some scenes in it which are just incredible, and I'm just very sad that he didn't manage to finish it. So yes, there'll be a whole video coming up about that at some point in the future. In the meantime, now that I've finished listening to The Mystery of Edwin Drood, I'm going to listen to Lois the Witch by Elizabeth Gaskell, I think, next, which is my historical fiction book club pick this month over on Patreon, so I want to get to that soon. And I might also read quite soon The Model Millionaire and Other Stories by Oscar Wilde, which is another short audiobook I have, which I'm going to be listening to on the Audrey app, which is a new to me audiobook app, so that'd be fun. I have also started listening to The Adventures of Sherlock Holmes on audiobook. I'm not very far through this, but this is a reread. I mean, as is Lois the Witch and Edwin Drood, actually, but anyway. Meanwhile, I have been reading Ayala's Angel and The Doctor's Wife, but I don't think I have too much to update you on from when I filmed a clip yesterday, but I did want to film a clip now that I've finished The Mystery of Edwin Drood, because as I said, it's so good. Hello, it is Sunday evening, the 6th of October. I expect it's fairly dark because it is now late in the evening, and I have been reading with my reading light rather than with the main light on, but this is still quite a new camera, so I thought it would be a good opportunity to test how well this camera does in the dark. I have not done that much reading this weekend just because I've had a really busy weekend doing lots of things, which was really nice, but less reading time. But I have been reading a bit more of both The Doctor's Wife and Ayala's Angel, both of which I am really, really enjoying. Ayala's Angel is getting so good now that we get towards the end. I have also listened to a bit more of Sherlock Holmes, and I'm about to start listening to Lois the Witch by Elizabeth Gaskell, which I'm going to listen to while I cook dinner. Hopefully I'll get through the first chapter while I'm cooking and then finish it in the next couple of days. So I don't have too much to update you on today, but yeah, I thought I would quickly check in, and I will let you know how I get on during the week. Hello, it is Monday evening, the 7th of October, and I just wanted to do a quick check-in today. So I've only got like an hour left of the audiobook of Lois the Witch. I should finish that maybe this evening, and I'm finding that really interesting so far. I have read Lois the Witch before, but not for a few years, so it's really interesting to reread it and think about it more. It's a really interesting Victorian historical novel set in America during the Salem witch trials, and it's really interesting to see a Victorian perspective on the Salem witch trials. There's such a kind of attitude of we know better now, we're so much further advanced, we wouldn't have these superstitions and these beliefs now in the way that people did then, and it's really interesting to kind of see a Victorian view of the past. It's quite short, it's a novella, but it's a really interesting read, and yeah, I'm really glad to be rereading that one, and the audiobook is done well too. Hello, it is Wednesday morning, and I have many reading updates for you today. So last night I finished reading Iola's Angel by Anthony Trollope, which was just so good. It was so fantastic. Did it need to be as long as it was? Possibly not. Was it slightly repetitive in places? Maybe. Did I absolutely love every second of the reading experience? Yes, I did. It was so good. I loved the characterization. I loved the premise. The love stories worked so well. As ever with Anthony Trollope, his depiction of unrequited love is just supreme. There were so many amazingly well-drawn characters. The ending worked so well, and I just absolutely loved it. I want to say like top 5 Anthony Trollope level. And I've read 36 of his books now, so you know, top 5 is pretty high. And then I also finished listening to The Model Millionaire and Other Stories by Oscar Wilde, which was a very short audiobook. It was only like an hour and a half, so I just listened to a few stories. And I listened to this on Audrey, which is an audiobook app I haven't used before, which is sort of specifically focused on classics, and they do kind of reading guides with notes and more explanations and details and that kind of stuff. And they kindly offered me a free audiobook, so I went for The Model Millionaire, which I really enjoyed, especially The Model Millionaire and The Sphinx Without a Secret. The last story, The Infanta's Birthday, is quite a difficult story. I think I had read this one before, but a long time ago. I feel like the way The Infanta's Birthday looks at disability feels quite uncomfortable and problematic for a modern reader. I actually do think it was meant to be an uncomfortable story at the time, like Oscar Wilde was purposely writing about the like despicable treatment and judgment of disabled people, but it still is also quite a tough read. So yeah, I finished off 2 things in the last 24 hours, so that's very exciting. And now I need to work out what I'm gonna read next. I think next I'm gonna listen to The Lancashire Witches by William Harrison Ainsworth, which I think will be really interesting. And in terms of what I'm gonna read next, I'm not sure. I'm still cracking on with The Doctor's Wife, which I'm about halfway through now on schedule, finding it really, really interesting. I think maybe this evening I might pick up another play, just because Victorian plays are always a nice, short, enjoyable read. And I think especially having finished Iola's Angel, that was quite long, although admittedly I had started it before Victober, but I think it'd be nice to read something short physically next before I tackle another longer book. So yeah, Victober's going pretty well so far, and I will check in again soon.
Okay, I think we have some people joining. So hello everybody. Welcome to some semi-spontaneous Victober reading sprints. So hi, I'm Katie from Books and Things, and this time I'm joined by Marissa from Blatantly Bookish, one of the other Victober hosts. So we're going to do some reading today.
good morning. It is now Thursday the 10th of October and last night I managed to finish off reading London Assurance after starting it during the live reading sprints, and yeah, I really enjoyed this. This is another Victorian play, another Victorian farce, and apparently I just love Victorian farces. Who knew? I don't think I like modern farces, but the thing about a Victorian farce that apparently I just find absolutely hilarious. I just have a very Victorian silly sense of humour, and a lot of Victorian humour is very silly. It was also quite fun to read London Assurance because this is from 1841, so it's a very early Victorian play, and I feel like the vast majority of Victorian drama I have read is from like the 1890s, 1880s, like it's all kind of late Victorian drama, so it's really nice to read some early Victorian drama. So yeah, London Assurance is this fun, silly farce about this older man who is engaged and married to a very young woman who he's never met before. He ends up in this country house with her, and his son is there, but like in disguise, and you know, is the young woman maybe going to fall in love with his son instead? There's a lot of disguises and tricks and silliness, and it was just very, very, very entertaining. I also do feel like quite a lot of Victorian farce like includes the trope of like women getting the better of men. The men don't know what's going on, but all the women like see through everything. And I kind of feel like maybe the Victorian joke is like, oh look how clever the women are, isn't that silly? Which is obviously frustrating. But on the other hand, like a lot of Victorian farce does include like lots of clever women who understand everything much better than the men, and that's quite fun. And then yes, I realised when I was editing my Victober vlog yesterday that I didn't actually say when I finished Lois the Witch. I feel like I actually spoke about Lois the Witch quite a lot when I was like halfway through, but I didn't actually say in this vlog that I had finished it, but I did, and it was really good. So yes, I think I'm gonna wrap up this vlog here because we're now, you know, a third of the way through Victober. I'm pretty pleased with my reading in Victober so far. So I finished off reading The Mystery of Edwin Drood and Iola's Angel, both of which I had started before Victober. And then I've also read two plays, Trelawney of the Wells and London Assurance, and one novella, Lois the Witch, and one collection of short stories, The Model Millionaire and Other Stories. So I'm pretty happy that 10 days into Victober I've read 6 things. Admittedly, 4 of them were very short and 2 of them I had started before Victober, but on the other hand I was kind of not expecting to read that much in the first half of the month because I know that I'm like busier work-wise in the first half of the month, and I was kind of expecting a lot of my reading to be done in the second half of the month, so I feel like I'm making pretty good progress for that. So currently I am reading The Doctor's Wife by Mary Elizabeth Braddon, which I'm halfway through, which I'll be, you know, carrying on over to the next Victober vlog, and I've also just started listening to The Lancashire Witches by William Harrison Ainsworth, and I'm not loving it so far. I feel like possibly William Harrison Ainsworth has like all the wordiness of Dickens with none of the flair, and he also like has obviously tried to replicate a Lancashire accent very strongly, and the audiobook is really hard to understand. Like usually when there's dialect written on the page, an audiobook really helps, but the audiobook is quite tough. And then I went to look at the actual text on Gutenberg to see, and I was looking at the way he transcribed dialect, and I was like, this is almost impossible to read. Imagine just like most of the characters are talking like Joseph from Wuthering Heights. However, I did want to give it a go, and I'm listening to the audiobook, so you know, I'm just gonna keep listening and we'll see how I get on with it. So that is all for now. Do let me know down in the comments, what are you reading for Victober? How has the first third of Victober gone for you? Otherwise, thanks so much for watching, and thanks again to Serious Readers for sponsoring this video, and I'll be back very soon with another bookish video.